Hey everybody, Jerrod Sessler here. I want to do a quick video today. This is the least fun video or type of video that I ever want to do, and I commit to you, and you can record this, that I will never do this again to another candidate because this is frustrating. Well, let me say this. I will never lie about another candidate like what's been lied about me. I'm going to tell you the truth about Amanda McKinney today. And primarily because I am concerned about these lies continuing after I win this election, and I certainly don't want the people who are considering supporting her to continue to do that in the midst of everything that's going on. So this is not fun for me. I would much rather debate policy and talk about how we're going to rescue our beautiful state of Washington and save our country than go through this kind of crap. So but let's talk about postcards, because we certainly got plenty of those coming in the mail. American Mission Super PAC has put in almost $800,000. Their main mission is to have zero regulation on AI and to make sure they can build data centers in your backyard. She's already bought by almost $1 million. This is all verifiable. Everything on this video is verifiable. You can go check it. Most of us already know that her wealthy family PAC put in $1.2 million roughly. That it's close to that for her campaign. That's, great for them that they have the money to be able to do that. I just find it frustrating that we have super PACs that are basically trying to buy elections in this country, and I think we need some serious campaign finance reform. We got a whole bunch of other postcards here from a DC super PAC, $507,000 into her campaign. For what? All these postcards say is, I'm endorsed, and they don't really talk about who she is or her policies, and that's part of the reason why people don't like her. Is she doesn't have much support even in her own county, but when you look at a congressional district that covers all or part of 8 counties, even a couple of precincts into a 9th county, you got to get out and meet the people, and she certainly hasn't done that. So let's see, here's another one, a bunch more postcards. These ones are just more recent. Some of these are ones that are lying about me. This is another super PAC out of Las Vegas, spending $150,000 to support her. You can see some of the nice pictures they use of me. We're going to talk about this in a minute. False claims. I find those very interesting, very Newhouse-esque in terms of these. Many of you remember what those postcards look like from Dan Newhouse last cycle. And then here's another one, a super PAC out of the Tri-City Herald. I found this one really quite interesting because these buffoons in South Carolina, who did this nice little picture of me, you know what the source they cited for their information? The illustrious Tri-City Herald. For those of you who don't know about the Tri-City Herald, this is a leftist blue rag that does nothing but lie about me. 98% of their reporting on Jerrod Sessler has been negative. Are you really serious that you guys can't find anything positive about me? It is absolutely ridiculous, and that's the site that's the source they're citing to say that Jerrod Sessler is lying. So that's really ridiculous. Many people are asking questions about the Trump endorsement, which I have covered this before, but I'm going to cover it again because most people don't know that Amanda McKinney's family PAC called Washington Rising distributed $150,000 to a charity on December 17th, 2025 in order to purchase said endorsement. And one of the leaders of that charity openly admitted that he hand-walked that request over to members of Trump's team. It was not from President Trump, it was from his team. What they didn't know is that the president had already signed a letter to me, which I have shared already previously, encouraging me to continue. We all know that the president personally endorsed me in the 2024 cycle. After we lost, of no fault of our own, we did everything we could in the general, being outspent by I think it was 13-1 by PACs that supported Dan Newhouse. They had to spend over $3 million to beat me in the general. But of course, because it's Republican on Republican, one of them's endorsed by President Trump, the other one voted to impeach President Trump. Of course, the opposing party is going to choose the weaker of the two. And so it was a very difficult hill to climb for the general last cycle. After that general, the president and I exchanged this letter, and he encouraged me to continue. In the meantime, McKinney's team, tried to work angles because they knew that they couldn't beat me unless they could somehow get the Trump endorsement. And that's the reason why they made the investment of $150,000, which is, by the way, public record, December 17th, 2025. You can look it up. What they didn't know was the letter, and what Trump didn't know when we spoke to him after this happened, he didn't know that Amanda McKinney celebrated impeachment. He wasn't happy about that. He didn't know that she endorsed Dan Newhouse and did multiple TV commercials for him in the 2024 cycle and actively worked against me. She's taken credit for the last 6 years of hard work that all of us have done. It hasn't been just me. It's been all of us to disinfect this seat and to get a true conservative in this seat in what is the most conservative district on the West Coast. We deserve to have a conservative sitting in this seat. She attended the State of the Union with Dan Newhouse in 2025. She supports well meters on private property. She ran Yakima County $15 million deficit in their budget. She runs a personal business that she's open about while she's paid as commissioner. And people who work at the county told me personally that she's never at work. Her personal private parking spot at work is always empty, and so is her desk and office. She cost Yakima County taxpayers $60,000 because of a violation to the Open Public Meetings Act. So, this is a tough deal. I remember recently at one of the events, she said that this is a very serious position, and that was right after I got up and I made some joke or something. I think as Americans we ought to take this very seriously, but I also think we ought to still be able to have fun. And evidently she doesn't think so. So Washington's 4th District covers, as I mentioned, all or part of 8 counties. Amanda McKinney has endorsements from 0 Republican county parties. Doesn't that seem kind of interesting? Meanwhile, I have several endorsements, and in 24 I had all the endorsements, and the only reason that I don't now have all the endorsements is primarily because of pre-primary restrictions on those endorsements. And I'll just give an example. In Amanda's own county, in Yakima County, the 11 candidates in the race, the criteria to get an endorsement from the Republican Party is 66%. 11 candidates. Just think of that. That's less than 10% average per candidate. And I would have to get 66% in order to get the endorsement. Well, I didn't get 66%. I got 57% out of 11 candidates. So it's pretty darn close. You could say that I have a lot of support in Yakima, which is her home turf, which ought to tell you something. She doesn't even have support in her own county. She isn't known in the other counties, and she's lying about me. So for her in her own county, they were unable to even sustain a motion for endorsement, meaning that in the 100 and some people or however many people were in this meeting, only one person made a motion to endorse her and nobody would second it. That is her own county. On that fact alone, you ought to ask yourself why they are now pulling out the same lies that Newhouse used against me. Why? Because as I've been telling you all along, I'm winning this race, she's losing this race, and she's lying about me, and it really frustrates me because this is exactly what Dan Newhouse did to me last cycle. I don't like doing videos like this, but I'm telling you the truth. One of the lies that they've pulled out and are continuing to propagate is this idea that I want to raise taxes by 30%. It's a complete lie. How on earth would I ever get President Trump's endorsement? How on earth would I even be able to consider myself a conservative? How on earth is my campaign slogan, "I'll protect your wallet," when they say I want to raise taxes? I am so frustrated with our taxes. I want to lower taxes, but I do believe in a program called Fair Tax, and I think it's something that we ought to consider. What it does is consolidate all federal taxes into one place. Um, how they consider that an increase in taxes, it's only the opposition that does that, because it doesn't actually increase the taxes. Another lie that they propagate, this was started by the illustrious John Trumbo, who put my family in danger by doxing my personal information, and of course his handlers at the Tri-City Herald. They say that I failed to pay my taxes. What a lie. Just a straight up lie. Uh, John Trumbo is an absolute piece of work, and this guy has spread at least a dozen pure lies about me that I've been talking about for the last 6 years, and it's completely frustrating. Guy's delusional. By the way, nobody should vote for him for Kennewick City Council ever again. Nobody should vote for him for anything. That guy is just a straight up liar. The last one here is a Trump endorsement lawsuit. This is interesting. It's mentioned on one of her postcards. I wasn't even going to talk about this because it's so disparaging. You know who started the lawsuit and who propagated it? Amanda McKinney. And it was a total lie, and they used the lawsuit to get an advance copy of my pamphlet statement that is submitted to the Secretary of State. And they did that. And guess what? They submitted edits to it. They changed my pamphlet statement before it went to print. I haven't said anything about it. It was definitely frustrating. But this is all her, and I'm just so exacerbated with her. I thought Dan Newhouse was ruthless. I thought his campaign consultants were pretty bad, but they've definitely been outdone by this campaign. She's basically lied about her mission to occupy the seat because that's what she wants. Her entire mission is ladder climbing as a politician, something I could care less about. That is the dichotomy between us, is I want our country back. I want our beautiful state to be rescued. And she wants to ladder climb and, build her resume as a politician. So we've got just 2 days left here in voting. I still believe, based on the polling that I'm seeing, that we're wildly ahead. I appreciate your support, everybody that has supported me over these years. We've got a lot of work to do. I've got a good plan. I've got a lot of support, and I just appreciate you sticking with me through this, and you won't be disappointed. God bless you.